Hey there guys, it's Lee here for iMineBlocks. Welcome back to another video. So it's been a really hectic weekend with the launch of Zcash, which is a new cryptocurrency. There has been a lot of hype and speculation around this coin. I think it's going to be a really good coin in the long term, but at the moment it's been sort of really hyped up and there's just it's all gone a little bit crazy. So what I wanted to actually show you in this video is how to mine Zcash using your AMD miners on Windows machines. So this is something that a lot of people have been asking for. I did want to make a video previous to this, and I've actually already done some on the actual latest developments on the actual AMD miners. But the problem was as soon as a new miner was coming out, it's being released, there was lots of bugs and lots of issues with it, and it was a case of where I'd make a video for it and then almost immediately the video or the miner was obsolete. It was no good. There's lots of issues for it, but now that the actual main build up is out the way, the actual whole Zcash thing is settling down just a little bit. So what that means is that I can share more relative and more informative information with you. So like I say, this video is going to be showing you how to use the Windows based AMD miners, and hopefully that will get you up and running in a more stable manner, get your mining a little bit more stable, and hopefully earning some Zcash without running into lots of the problems that we've seen recently over the past few days. So what I'm going to do is, you can see the machines behind me, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump onto a Windows machine, do a screen share and show you how to get set up with that AMD Windows miner. So let's go and do that now, and I'll take you through the whole process. Okay, so we're just on the screen share now. The miner that I'm going to be showing you is the Genoil Zcash miner, and it's currently 4.2. So this is a Windows miner for AMD devices. It's an OpenCL device miner, so you can use it with your AMD hardware. So I'm going to be showing you on two separate Windows boxes. I'm currently logged in via TeamViewer. So the first machine is worker free. This one is running Windows 8.1, and I'll show you some of the other details in just a moment, and then I'll show you another machine afterwards. But first of all, I'm just going to show you how to download and install the actual miner itself. It's really simple, and then from there I'll show you the actual performance of it and how to get set up with it and all that kind of business. So the miner, if you just open up the browser first of all, you can download it this way, or I'll put a link in the actual video description so you can download it directly. But you can download it this way if you want to download it directly from the source. So if you just type Genoil ZEC miner, and the result should be this GitHub link, Genoil/ZEC miner. So if you just go there, it will take you to the Genoil GitHub. Then if you go to releases, and it's 4.2 is the current version. If you just click on the zip file and then go to download, and then you can just download it to your downloads folder, your desktop, or wherever is convenient for you. That will download from there. I've already actually gone through that process, so if you go to open folder, and then we can just extract it. I've already got two. Just go to extract. Let's just close the browser window now, don't need that. So that's extracted now. We've got the actual folder here. I've actually, just convenience, I've just copied it to the desktop, make it a little bit easier to use, so you can just drag it across to your desktop or wherever you choose. So if you open up the actual miner folder itself, you'll see there's three sections. You've got kernels. That's where your actual kernels are saved for your actual graphics cards. You don't really need to go inside or worry about that folder itself. You've got the Genoil miner itself, and you've got a start.batch file. So if we go right click and then we can go to edit, we can edit our batch file, which was used to start up the actual miner. So I'll just break it down for you bit by bit, so then you can get set up and configure it to your own needs. So the first part is just the call to the actual program itself. You don't need to worry about that. Then we've got the pool setting here. So you can see I'm mining Zcash and I'm using the supernova pool. And then we've just got the port on the end there as well. So set it up to whatever pool, whichever pool you wish to use. Like I say, I'm using Supernova, but there's also Flypool and quite a few others. But I'm using Supernova. I just find that's the most reliable and stable pool for myself. Then we've got our user details. So with Supernova, the first part is your login or your username, and then the second part is a worker name. So just to make you aware, if you've not used Supernova before, you can't just make up a worker name here and use it. You need to set up the actual worker on the pool before you define it here. So just make sure you do that. So I've got riskyfire.worker3, it's my user details. Then it's my password, which is X. Now the next part is this P, and that actually is kind of almost irrelevant, but it's also a capital P, and that's meant to define the actual OpenCL platform. So if you've got some, depending on how your system is set up, but you might have like two different platforms. So you might have a graphics card platform and a CPU platform. In most cases, you'll just use the -P and then platform 0 for most people. But just to make you aware what exactly that switch does. Then you've got -G, and then you've got 0 and 1. So in this particular system, I've got two graphics cards. So what it's telling me to use, using the graphics cards, use graphics card 0, then space, and use graphics card 1. So for most people, if you just got a single graphics card, you'll just do -G and then just a space 0 if you've got one card. Or if you've got, like a 4-card rig or something, you do 2, 3. For 1, 2, 3. For 0, 1, 2, 3 is one for each of your 4 cards. So just work it out accordingly. Like I say, in this card, machine, I've just got 2 graphics card. So then underneath that, on the next line, we've just got pools, and the pools is just a kind of a useful feature that if the actual miner crashes, it just kind of holds the actual command window open rather than just closing it without leaving you any messages. So we just save that, and then we can just close that, and then we're just going to start up the actual miner itself. So this has got the actual silent army kernels, which basically means it's going to run a lot faster for you. So you can see it's got 2 GPUs. It's got a third one there, but we're not actually using that in this case. That's actually integrated into my CPU, so I'm not going to be using that. And then we've got a breakdown. So we've got 20 solutions a second on one card, and then 19 on the other, coming to a total of 39. And then you can see it's kind of increasing slightly as we go through. So with these cards, the actual graphics cards in this machine, I've said it before in previous videos, but just to make you aware, there's 2 graphics cards. One is a 7950 and the other one is a 280X. So you can see obviously the 280X is the one that's slightly faster. So that's it going through there, and that's kind of the results that I'm getting. One other thing I just wanted to show you is I did actually test this miner first of all with the older drivers. Previously I'd been using the 1512 drivers for Ethereum mining, and they've always worked well in the past, but with this particular miner they wouldn't work. The miner would just crash straight away. So the miners that I'm currently using are the most recent ones, and I'll just check the exact version just so you guys know. I just got to wait for it to open up. Yeah, it actually still says Crimson 1512. I'm not too sure why it says that, but I did download and install the recent drivers, which I think are 16.9 or 16.7, something like that. So just to make you aware of it, I am actually using the most recent drivers, even though Afterburner is not showing that for some reason. I don't know what's going wrong there, but anyway. So that is one mining rig. You can see I've got some other mining stuff going on in the background there. One other thing was I was also kind of dual mining. I don't know whether it will still work in this case. So if I start up this miner, which is the CPU miner, and I'm just kind of curious to see whether it will run at the same time. So before I was kind of getting about 8 solutions a second with the CPU miner. So I'm just going to kind of see if I can run both of these at the same time. Because part of it's also about experimenting. Some minings, depending on how they're actually configured, you might notice that your GPU mining goes down drastically, in which case there's no point CPU mining and GPU mining both at the same time. So I just wanted to take a little look there, and it looks like it's slowly increasing, a little bit changes, but generally about the same. So that means that I can use the CPU miner and the GPU miner at the same time, which is great. Okay, so we're just going to move on to the next machine now. So the next machine is Risky Fire 1, or I call it Worker 1. So we've got the same miner. This machine is a Windows 10 machine, 64-bit. The drivers that I'm using are a little bit different. This machine has two Sapphire RX 470s in there. You can see I'm using the Crimson 16.6 drivers. So I'll just close that. I normally actually use tricks for the overclocking. But anyway, so what I'll do is, actually let me just show you the current settings. So these graphics cards have actually got the Ethereum modded BIOS, but in this particular case I've just left them with the standard CPU clocks, so 1216 core and 1750 on the memory. Normally I'll use a slightly slower core clock of about 1100 and then 2000 for the memory clock if I'm mining Ethereum. But when I did do one test, it did crash. So I just need to do a little bit more testing to confirm what is the best in terms of stability. So these are the settings that I'm going to be using for both cards, just in this particular use case, but we might be able to get a bit more performance out of it in the future. So let's try it now with our two RX 470s. I'll just show you the batch file again. So it's pretty much the same as before. In fact, it's almost identical with the exception of the worker reference. So I'll just start that up now and then we'll see what performance we get on this machine. Okay, so the total solutions, I was going to say hashes, it's all the same thing really. We're at 51, 50, 52, 51. I'm not too sure what the best performance I can get out of this. I've not really done very much testing with it, but I did see a little glimpse that it could possibly go up to around 60. So I'm not too sure exactly what the optimal settings are for it. So it's just a case of sort of testing and tweaking to get the best performance out of these things. I'll just leave that running. Okay, so I'm just going to about leave it here. There's not really very much more to share with you regarding this sort of miner. If you do have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments area below and I'll be sure to get back to you guys. Hopefully you've liked this video, found it useful, informative and good information for you guys to use. So thanks for watching and I'll see you guys on the next video.